Good Saturday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys and you wonderful ladies, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up those football gods. Wake up here on this Saturday. I hope you guys have great plans. I may be wrong, but I think this is the first day of spring. We have made it through the NFL winter. We are now into the next season of the NFL. I know we got a long ways to go before we get to games, but hey, we got at least, news that's going on right now. And right now, we have ONeal. We got the watch. It's down to Dallas and the Jets on who he's going to pick. You got to hope that, everything, you got New York City. New York City. Okay, you got that, the bright lights of Broadway and all that. But then, of course, you got the bright lights of the Dallas Cowboys. And if you want to be in the news, you go to Dallas, because there is no place, and I mean no place, like being with the Dallas Cowboys, because we get covered to the nth degree. Things can happen with other players like Deshaun Watson. Could you imagine if the things that are happening right now with Deshaun Watson were happening with somebody on the Cowboys? The internet would be broken. Could you imagine if John Gruden was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, doing the moves that he's made and things, and with the team not having success, how it would be if he was in Dallas? It's hardly a blip on the radar. It's like, well, that's okay. John Gruden, no problems, no worries. But with the Dallas Cowboys, everything is micromanaged. So I'm happy this Saturday, and understand that this is another weekend without football, but it gets us 1 week closer to the season. So we know that we got ONeal, like you said, he's narrowed it down to the Jets. You've got to figure that Dan Quinn, being the guy who drafted him out of college, playing for Dan Quinn a couple of seasons, that he may have the inside straight on him. This would definitely be an upgrade. Now, here's the thing that's funny, and it may be just because we've just been through so much crap. Listen, I am Joe the fan. I am a guy who has been building his studio in my basement. I'm a guy who watches football. I've never gone through and said I am an expert on anything, although I'm pretty good with wood. I can say I'm an expert with building it with wood. I can say that much at least. Because I can't say that a lot of people have stuff that they've done that's in the Smithsonian. So I can say that I'm a master of woodworking. When I get down here, I put out my thoughts, my opinions, what I think, with a positive spin as much as possible. I do get negative, I do get dark, but for the most part, I will tell you the reasons why I like a move, or why it may be positive. But there's no guarantees on anything. You'll remember back a few years ago when everybody thought that the Dallas Cowboys got the best defensive player in the draft with Morris Claiborne. They traded up for him. Who saw that coming? You'll remember that experts were saying, Dak Prescott, You'll remember experts were saying Russell Wilson. If you need a backup for a couple of games, he might be okay. Nobody is 100% right in football. And that's one of the reasons why we love it. So I showed, in a video last night, some highlights of ONeal. I talked about him a little bit and everything else. And I had some of the haters, and you know how platers are. Oops.
Like myself, man, a lot of cats think they hate, but man, I'm mad, I'm mad at everything, man. Brother got a nice car, man. Why you got a car, man? I only got one car. Why you got 3 cars, or a wife, or all that, man? That's played out, man. I hate on it till he's totally broke and ain't got nothing like me. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's what real hating is all about, man.
That's what real hate is all about. I mean, seriously. They're like, yeah, well, you told us about Dontari Poe and this. It's like, yeah, well, I told you the positives of it. I was happy that we got a big man in the middle. We actually got a trash can full of dirt. I didn't know he was going to come into camp and be on the PUP list on a season that was shortened, where we only had, 12 days of conditioning and 14 padded practice. Then we got an NFL season. He signed in training camp, came in overweight, couldn't perform, and didn't do crap. Now, had we gotten Dontari Poe a few years before, okay, maybe. If you'd gone through and gotten that guy, it would have worked. Unfortunately, we didn't. And there's no guarantee that you're going to get any of these guys what they were. And, of course, you show the highlights. Well, they're called highlights for a reason. Well, you know what? I can't honestly say that if I showed a highlight film of Xavier Woods last season that I would see as many nice tackles and things like that, okay? I just don't think. I just don't think that we would. So we have to go by what these guys have done in the past. And that's all we can do. But I tell you, I do like some of the things that I see, and I'm going to let this run here for a minute. You know, I like the fact that he actually understands that you use your shoulder and wrap your arms around guys, that you keep your head on a swivel looking for the football, okay? That you deliver a blow, but you also use your arms when you do to make sure that they don't get away. This, to me, is far and away better than what I've seen from my Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know this is not every single play, but if you give me a few plays like this every game, I'm going to be a lot happier than I was last year. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be happier than I was last year. Yeah. So we'll see how this works out, see if Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones can pull the trigger on this. We know that we have some other players that are going to be coming in as well. They are actually trying to take care of the safety. And to their defense, I think they've recognized that we have had a problem at safety. We can at least agree on that, because if they hadn't, they wouldn't have tried to make the move for Earl Thomas. Now, here's where you like a move like this one better than Earl Thomas. Not giving up a second-round pick is what we offer Seattle. And we know Seattle always, look at that, always wants more than what is the going rate when it comes to a trade. When you see what they turned down for Russell Wilson, you know that they ain't playing. They ain't playing. They're basically saying,
Take the money out, all of it.
yeah, they take it all. Take it all. So we're not giving up any draft capital to get this. And unlike a lot of people that are saying, trade Michael Gallup so we can fix the defense, you ain't got to trade him. There are guys out there, a lot of guys out there that are starting caliber players that are really good, that can help your team. All you got to do is pay them. So why mess with something that works? I just can't fathom that whole situation. Now, here's the take on this is also, too, understand he played safety for Atlanta, but they're talking about using him at weak side linebacker. And see, this is where linebacker, of course, is kind of like a hybrid position. You think about it, okay? You know, they say linebacker, which really means is you're not big as an defensive lineman, okay? You know, that's where you got the big fat guys. But you're not really as fast as a cornerback. You're kind of in between. But your job is you're the glory seeker. You are the guy that's made the tackles. The defensive line, their job is to keep the offensive line off the linebacker so the linebackers can scrape, can roam, and they make the plays and deliver the blow. Weak side linebacker a lot of time has to cover the slot receivers. You know, like CeeDee Lamb is a slot receiver, smaller, quicker guys. And you don't want to have a linebacker who can't cover. We've been in that situation. Jalen Smith, to some extent, especially his first year starting, could not make the cuts with his drop foot. And he was a liability in coverage. Putting a guy who's been a safety at linebacker, where you're basically trailing because you're on the weak side, and the weak side being you have more guys to the center on one side or the other. That's the strong side. The weak side is the back side. Typically, the plays are going to go to the strong side. Not always, which means you're chasing. So you need a guy who's got ability to be able to move sideline to sideline. And taking a guy who's played safety but is vicious enough to play linebacker might actually end up being a really good thing, especially in helping to fill in the running game. So I kind of like this. We'll see if it comes to fruition. I hope it does. I think this is a start of really beginning to improve the defense. So that's where we are. We'll see what, if anything, transpires today or over the weekend. It may end up being that they wait until Monday. We do know that we have Dontari Poe, because everybody was on me last night at the live stream saying I was mispronouncing his name, saying KZ, okay? That Dontari KZ, who's coming off of a torn ACL back in October that's supposedly healed. He's coming in next week, and he's a guy who, man, 2018 and 2019 had 10 interceptions, a ball-hawking safety. So that would be great if he's fully healed. Bring him in. That's definitely an upgrade. And then we also have Malik Hooker. Okay, Malik Hooker coming by for a visit as well next week. So the Cowboys have recognized the problem and are trying to do the best they can to fill it. I hope they recognize that one technique problem and do something just as strong to try and rectify it as well. I'm Mark Holmes, and, well, I got to go patch some drywall and do some work, and then I got to get back to the workshop, and we're going to paint this bad boy. Nice cowboy colors here. This is a new piece that's going to be added to the Jobu store. This is, well, Michael called it the New England deflated football, but it's basically a rack so you can put your headphones on it. You can actually put two. I like to get creative with stuff, you know. I like to work with wood. And anyway, with that being said, let's get out of here. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Being part of the Jobu Sports Report.